talking about bass, talking about chips, talking about rings. You ain't got them, zip your lip. You got a problem you haven't found, check your grounds. The show about to start. Tune in, 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 tune in. This week in car audio. Yeah. Tune in. This week in car audio.
Ooh, welcome. Let's see, I'm going to sit over here for now. Welcome to This Week in Car Audio with your host, the Judge, Doug Stockton. No co-hosting today. I got Jeffrey. Jeffrey's at CES currently, so he is not available. He's got really, really bad service. I am just waiting for our guest to arrive. Our guest is going to be the VP of Chaos from Orion Car Audio, the ring sponsor of this year's World Finals. So he should be popping on here anytime here. As soon as I'm done sharing the podcast stuff here, give me one more minute, and I will go over some information. Wayne Harris is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, or in the Phoenix area, roughly. And he's going to be giving out, or he's going to be displaying the Terminator. Let's see here, I'm almost done. US Amps. Anyway, the guy that's going to be on today is Jack Cali. He is the VP of Chaos for Orion Car Audio. Once again, like I said, he's also the one of the guys, part of the team that put together the ring sponsorship for DB Drag this year. So I want to thank him for that. Let's see here. Okay, so I got that all done. What did I say? Oh, the information. Real quick, let me share Wayne's. So he's going to be at the Master Tech Expo March 12th through the 15th. It is going to be at the Delta AZ Ballroom in Mesa Convention Center from 4:15 to 5:30 p.m. Thursday, March 12th. He's going to do a live interview with Matt Schaefer and Gary Bell. And like I said, his car is going to be there to check out the new Terminator, the updated Terminator. Looks like it's all got all kinds of Rockford Fosgate in it now. So, but anyway, once again, the date for Wayne is March 12th from 4:15 to 5:30 p.m. Also, for my guys in Dallas, exciting news. I talked to Roger, and Roger's trying to get some permission from his neighbors, and it looks like we are going to do a handful of shows right here in the Dallas area coming up. So, want to thank Roger for that opportunity. Let's see, what else do I have here for you guys? I know Jeffrey's trying to put together a season. Yep, just waiting for Jack to click on the link. But like I said, interesting. Jack's been part of the car audio scene for many, 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 many years. And he was reinvigorated this year when he went to World Finals. And he got to see the show firsthand. And he was, kind of really excited about it. So he enjoyed it quite a bit. And like I said, as soon as he pops on here, we'll be able to do that. Let's see, we got a couple viewers going on right now. Anyway, if you guys have any questions about what's going on, like I said, Dallas, it looks like in the Dallas area, we are going to be hosting a couple of events out there with Crossfire Car Audio and Roger. So as soon as I get a date for that, I'm hopefully going to have a date next week. Roger was supposed to go and talk to his neighbors this week to get those dates out there. I see Joel out in California putting together shows like crazy. As a matter of fact, let me see what I thought he just posted on the Sonic FX site. Sonic. Let's see here. Boom Bass Audio Concepts and Mellow Auto Repair. He's got January 24th and January 31st. So he's got those two shows coming up for you guys out in California. Tyler Archer. Good evening, Tyler. I was trying to get a hold of Don, but Don Hebig didn't want to answer his text. I tried to get a hold of Andrew. Just so you know what's going on, Jeffrey is in at CES, and the reception is really poor there. So he tried to go live, and it just didn't work out well, and he didn't want to be struggling on the podcast, so he um, chose not to be part of it today, which is fine. Doesn't hurt my feelings. Let's see. Oh, I gotta. You know what's going on is I am not on there. So let me go to YouTube and get that going here. Um, anyway, do you guys have any questions for me right now while we're waiting for Jack to get on here? Hopefully he comes on soon. Anyway, waiting. Uh, Don's very busy. He's probably working. I texted him and asked him if he was working. I didn't get a response back. So I always suspect he's working. Every other time I've called and asked him to come on, he's always been working. So, like I said, I don't feel that this is probably any different. What do you, Tyler? Do you know when the new? Oh, Dave Bradshaw. I almost texted you, Dave, to come on and be a co-host tonight because, like I said, Jeffrey's off um, due to the um, uh, reception not being very good, and we got somebody from what's the problem from Orion Car Audio, the VP of Chaos coming on. As soon as he gets on, you know, uh, he doesn't. I don't think he realizes. Watch this. I'm going to text him real quick and say, um, live waiting. Oh, that's not how you spell waiting. For you. Um, anyway, are you? Let's see. Let me see if I can't see if. Have you texted anything else, Dave? Nope, that's it. Let me. I just want to test this one, make sure it's coming through. Bam. Test. And it is working. Cool. All right. Anyway, so I'm excited. Dallas area. Very cool. DB Drag next year could get pretty interesting. We got Joel really, really, really going after it over there in California. We got Jeffrey is trying to put together a series of shows down in the LA area, so that'll be great. And me here in Dallas, we got the three new judges, I guess, in Canada. Oh, what does he say? Hold on a second. So he says, bam. Oh, he's trying to connect to the Wi-Fi right now. Manny, what's going on, Manny? Lord of Base Manny in there. Did you get a ring this year, Manny? I thought you might have won a ring this year. So, um, and you guys that got the rings, this is the guy that definitely was a big part, stepped up and took on the sponsorship role this year. In the past, we've had Incriminator Car Audio. Then Crossfire took it, I think, for 2 years, and last year Orion took it on. So you guys, when you get your rings, they'll say Orion Car Audio right on the side. As soon as he gets in here, I'll introduce him again real quick. Really excited. I got a couple of people that are trying to get some time available to be on the podcast. So that's what we're working toward in the new year. Oh, Manny, you didn't get a ring. Bummer. It would have been nice if you would have. So if you guys have any questions about like old school Orion stuff, like the cheater amps back in the day, the what was it, a quarter of a watt or whatever, the red amplifiers that were a quarter of a watt or something. Um, we're gonna have that guy on, so that'll be interesting. He says he's trying to log on right now. Hopefully that comes on soon. Oh shoot, I pushed a button. As far as rules, we really haven't started any of the new rules stuff this year yet. So I'm really looking forward to when that discussion goes. I don't see any potential rule changes coming up. So I don't know that we even really need a lot of clarifications. I think the rules were pretty straightforward at World Finals. I don't remember having any, serious discussions amongst us or amongst the competitors about is this kind of legal? Um, and if you guys didn't see a couple weeks ago, Bo Boren was going to retire, and what's his name? Um, RP called him out, so now he's back. He's back in the game, and the Super Street class might get very, very, very interesting this year. But can't wait for all. Like I said, I'm looking forward to this year. I think it's going to be a phenomenal year. I think we're going to grow in ways that DV Drag hasn't grown in a while. Like to see more judges. You know, uh, what's her name? Salinas. Or um, I see her face. Anyway, so she'll be in Texas with me also. So she'll be doing shows in Texas. Then we have, like I said, we got Jeffrey, we got Joel, we got Chemo. I'm not sure Chemo's going to do many shows, but we got Jeffrey and Joel. Joel's freaking trying to kill it. He's trying to catch up to me with how many shows he's done. And then in Canada, we have 3 new judges. It's either 3 or 4 new judges. So then obviously what Ray's doing. And Jeremy down south. Like I said, if you are someone that wants to become a judge or is in an area that needs shows, hit me or Jeffrey up or Wayne and Celise, and we will help. Oh, there he is. We'll help put forward a path for you to possibly become a judge. And all right, Jack, it looks like your
Hey,
audio works.
yeah, is it on?
It is on.
Oh, great,
Cool.
cool, man, cool.
All right, so this is Jack. He is the VP of Chaos for Orion Car Audio. If you guys have any Orion questions or whatever, just hit them up in the chat and I'll share them with Jack. Anyway, Jack, why don't you introduce yourself to the group here?
All right, cool. Wait, hang on. I think I was out of the frame. Can you
You
see
were,
me?
but you're fine now.
Okay, cool. So anyway, Jack, VP of Chaos, that was the name that they decided to tag me with when we started this crazy thing about, believe it or not, in 2019.
Okay.
Things just didn't kind of go the way I wanted it in 2019, just a lot of things in the world. So we held back. We wanted to do it for a 2020 release. So we're really crazy to think that it's been this many years, but it was a cake we were baking, There was really no rush, and
Mm-hmm.
all of us involved didn't really have to worry about necessarily something going wrong because we didn't have to rely on it per se as a business. So we started
Okay.
it very slowly, very easy to seeing what the reaction would be, and the reaction was real solid. We haven't stopped since. There's been ups and downs just in the industry. Sales are good and bad. But the part that we're doing right here in Phoenix, doing all the American made stuff, which I wanted to clear it up. And when you said, VP of Chaos at Orion, very, very true.
Mhm.
What we do here in Phoenix is a smaller branch of Orion. It's what we're doing all here American made, and that's where I'll have my most knowledge from. I do know a lot of, obviously, about some of their other products, but not in some of the depth that the guys that handle that division do. We're all about the American made stuff, all of the old stuff starting as back as early as 83, and all the way till now for the new vintage stuff we're doing. So that's kind of where we at as far as the Orion stuff.
So is that like the HCCA stuff and stuff like that?
Well, actually, that's the common thing that people like the HCCAs, the baby reds, and all that
Hmm.
low ohm low. And yes, that's we're gonna play with that as well. That's gonna be a next release. But the one we came with first, I actually have a few of them here, which was
Oh.
the NT. That's the
Hmm.
NT model. This is a new scorched earth color. This is replacing the old vintage marble purple. So this will
Okay.
be our new NT color going forward. But of course, you can get for example, this is a new color that we've added to the batch, which is the, I don't know if it's upside down.
Yeah.
So it's the purple blue. It's
Hmm.
almost, you can't tell what it is. So we're going back true old school, true retro. Everything is absolutely hand placed and hand built right here at the shop. We don't third party subcon nothing. Even though I'm fine with that, third party subcontract to someone local is fine. But
Hmm.
we're not even doing that actually. So everything we have is here in stock and raw materials. And we start off, sometimes when you say that, the industry, everybody says, oh, we're American made and this and that. And yeah, some people may be doing it a little bit. But with us, we're starting off with cardboard, flat pieces of cardboard, creating our own boxing, doing our own printing, our own laser on our boxing and our cardboard, cutting out our own foam, getting raw extrusion, literally from down the street, cut to our spec, of
Right.
course, because we the Orion design, and then PCBs in the other direction, and my anodizer in the other direction. I mean, everything right here in front of us. So we start with three raw materials, so to speak. You know what I mean, like the
Right.
PCB, the heat sink, and everything else is done by us until it goes out the door. And we even actually cut out all of our shipping for incoming. We have basically zero shipping bill. We go
Hmm.
pick up all of the supplies, all the aluminum. We have our trucks and trailers. You don't need semis. You just
Right.
go with a nice 24-foot hauler or whatever, car hauler. We pick up all of our aluminum extrusions. We go pick up our PCBs, our parts, and everything. And the only shipping cost that now exists is you ship it out to your customer, and they pay the cost on that. So when a lot of people were wondering, well, how in the world you're going to do this and cut some costs and be able to make American goods and not be too pricey?
Right.
Well, everybody always wants to focus on just a product and they want to go A, B, or C. It's like, okay, this product costs this much to build. We can't live on that because that's not enough money. But they never take it to the next level down. Probably because a lot of people running companies today have no idea how to do it. You got to go in and pick out all the things you're going to save. You got to go pick out your customs, your trade, your shipping, your
Yeah.
time spent, everything. And when you start doing that, you find little companies like us. That's, I say little, well, Ryan's big, but
Yeah.
we're that
A
branch off to the
division. Yeah.
side. Yeah, that division off to the side. And we're running some serious percentage numbers. I'm going to say I'm running higher percentage numbers today
Hmm.
building this product than 20 years ago when I was doing it here in the state, meaning before it all went offshore. It's
Yeah.
not that bad if
Hmm.
you're willing to actually use your hands. You can't have me and then two CEOs on top of me sucking off $1 million a piece a year, whatever they
Right.
make from back in the day, and then tell us we have to make it work.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. I don't know. Is this like on here Fox? Is that where are we at?
No, it's fine. So
Well, you get what I'm saying, though. I
yeah.
mean, I know everything happens for a reason, and it's all a great industry, but those things did take place, and
No,
we
absolutely.
we got we got beat up with a lot of those things. So,
Yeah, so for me personally, um, I started at Sonic FX. I was a sub manufacturer, amplifier manufacturer in 2000. I went from 2000 to 2005. Actually got to the point in 2000, late 2003, beginning of 2004, where I had
Hmm.
a gentleman approach me and offer to buy my company for $10 million.
There you go. That's fun.
And it, I started my company because I wanted to be my own boss. And
Hmm.
he literally wanted to buy me for the $10 million. And so I
Hmm.
did not sell.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um,
Right.
Memphis Car Audio came along in 2005, and you know the I was able to make a entry level driver for around $14 at the time,
Hmm.
and it would sell full retail for $99.99, $100.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
All that. Yeah.
our margins were so good in the early 2000, late 90s that the margins were just there, right? And then when it
Hmm.
started going overseas and the internet started coming about and people were able to purchase stuff, really limited the profitability of a manufacturing company. So,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
but Memphis came along and, still quite a bit. There's only like three manufacturers for baskets in the whole world, right?
Yeah.
That are
Yeah.
bulk
Yeah. Yeah.
manufacturers.
We, we
And
we we see that. We see that. Yeah.
yeah, and they're still the same three people. And
Hmm.
then there's only really one manufacturer that you use for coils, right?
Hmm.
And so Memphis went to these people and said, "Hey, you can either sell the Sonic FX or you can sell to us." And
Hmm.
me being Sonic FX, I was buying like $50,000 to $60,000 a year of material from
Yeah.
them, and Memphis is buying tens of millions from them, right? Because at
Hmm.
that time they were the third or fourth largest stereo company or car audio company in the world,
Hmm.
and so they went to them and straight up told them, said, "We'll take our business to one of the other houses if you continue to sell the Sonic," and it
Hmm.
shut my doors. So,
Yeah.
but I cost them $1 million in 1 month in sales.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was able to
That's a
offer
lot
a
of money.
well, it is, but I was able to offer a product that outperformed theirs, and basically is because I was literally building everything in my garage, and because I was doing that, I was able to, um, the quality control was so much higher when
Yeah.
you have less hands doing it and people that actually
Mhm.
care, right?
Yeah. 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 For
If
sure.
I'm having it built in a factory, this is just one of 60 drivers the guy's doing it today. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
where I'm doing it with my own hands and whatnot,
Yeah.
phenomenal, right? I can
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
maintain, I can look. Oh shoot, I overlapped the because we used to use business cards, right, for the gapping
Hmm.
for subwoofers. Oh, I overlapped that a little too much. Let me shim that out and then make it fit right. You know.
Hmm.
So that was all a lot of stuff, really cool. But anyway, yeah, no, that's cool that the profitability is still in there for you. Uh,
It can be. It can be. It depends on how you're doing it.
yeah.
Keeping your overhead low. Not trying to be out there like a bunch of puffing your chest out. Because what I found,
Uh-huh.
most companies generally have a hell of a lot less than what they're showing, and that's okay. I mean, you want
Right.
to look big, you want to look good. You can't go out there with a Pinto. You want to go out there with something nice. I get it. I tell the story. I say if the guy getting out of prison, he shows up at a bar. Might not want to mention that. Doesn't want to lie. Might not
Right.
want to mention he just got out of prison. The Pinto that's in the parking lot. He's gonna be like, "Well, my BMW's in the shop." That's how people fucking are.
Yeah.
So the truth is, what I've learned is that most of them are full of shit in the industry that's saying that you can't make money because you can. It just
Hmm.
depends on what place you want to be. It's a little
Hmm.
hard to dibble and dabble in offshore product and play that game and also expect your profit margins to be the same on the American side. What we're trying to do here is we have all the American stuff going on that would be traditional. We don't
Hmm.
have to try to fight against, like, Orion's not telling us, "Oh, you have to be at this point because this is where we are with other products." No,
Right.
it's two completely different lines. They're doing their thing, which they're doing, and they're
Hmm.
improving every month, every year. They got some new stuff coming out, and we want to be a part of helping them, rise that, but that takes time. Right
Right.
now, it's important to show we are the original guys. I do have, Mark Bussier, Enrique Styles, and a few other names that's been involved with the true beginnings of Orion. That's why we're doing it right. That's why even the cut marks and the drill marks and the milling stuff is right, because crazy as it may sound, we dug a lot of the old tools and stuff and jigs out of the warehouse. Some people bought some of it. We found it. Uh, I have the same tooling company. In fact, I don't mind telling my sources. They're great. A Cherokee Tool Company out in Arizona and Apache. Amazing fucking tools, man. They've been doing them for 40 years. So I went back to the same people and said, make me the same flywheel and this and that cuts the stuff so I can get my same patterns. I mean, we went all the way down to literally the fucking tool mark patterns. Like it was
Right.
insane what we went, it took me a few years dibbling dabbling to get it right and finding everything I need. But that was the only way to come back. You can't just, you can't. We're not Nintendo. You can't come out with a little small Nintendo and go, look, all your fucking games are in there, and then all you're happy. That doesn't work with That doesn't
No.
work with this. It's got to be the real thing, authentic, 100%, no changes other than maybe modernizing your connectivity, because obviously you
Right.
want to have some connectivity in the old school lamps. That was the
Right.
part I felt we were lacking,
Okay.
terminal blocks and stuff. So yeah, other than that, this is an exact mirror image on the inside the circuitry, which we did 30 something, 40 years ago, 42 years ago, whatever it was.
Uh-huh.
And some of these are already running in different countries in some competitions here and there. And there was a few times that I had calls. I can't remember their name. Couple judges. Nothing. Nobody important of any per se.
Right.
No names we would know, but just a couple of fellas reached out. I was like, hey man, what's going on? Because they can't see the inside of the amp. They just see, oh, it's a nice Orion. Is it is this a 40-year-old amp? Was it redone? He didn't know. He's like, I don't know what I'm looking at here. I said, what you're looking at is a brand new 40-year-old amplifier. He's like, this son of a bitch sounds insane. I was like, you mean noticeably insane? He said, I have a customer. He said, we took out, and again, I love all audio products. And
Right.
generally speaking, it's really kind of hard to tell the difference between some amplifiers, different brands. It truly is. I mean, it's good product. A
Yep.
lot of it's good product. So, but the point being is, I'm only going from what a customer tells me.
Right.
And he says, I build my audio. So everybody thinks they're a sound quality expert, right? So I'm not rating that, and I don't know that part. I'm just saying that his vehicle, his ears, his system, he took out a Moscone, he took out an Audison, he had one other amp, he said, from back in the day, and he put this one in. He said, if it sounds bitter, staying in my car. He called me back he wrote emails to Orion. He's like, man, I don't know what you're doing over here. You need to stick with that guy in Arizona. And he said, I finally got something I enjoy hearing. And I was like, I told this guy when he called me back, I realized he wasn't pulling my leg when he blew up the company, saying, hey, make sure this guy keeps doing what he's doing. Because he said he waited 30 years to try to get his hands. Obviously he could have gotten someone to sell him NT amp. But most of myself and a few other guys I know, which basically have all of the original NT amps, we don't sell them. This guy's like, man, I could never get my hands on one. I was like, Jesus, this can't be that fucking catastrophic. Well, he finally got his amp. He put it in his car, and this dude, just happy as can be. That was the happiest customer I ever had, other than our buddies and stuff on the Facebook groups, because obviously we're having fun. But I like a person who came in and is like, hey, bro, let me check this out. I wanted it a long time ago, couldn't afford it. I want it now. Let's see what's up. He made me spend an extra, I think it was $400 in capacitors he wanted. I want these ceramic capacitors and whatnot.
Yeah.
I did all that for him. Dude's loving it. So point being is, I feel that's our road. That's where we're going. It seems to be going okay. We don't build a ton of product. A lot of it is special order. I keep everything in stock. I can build it on a fly. I can do custom colors on a fly. All kinds of things. We can even hop them up a little bit here and there. We're doing repairs. We're going to do repairs nationwide, old and new stuff. In fact, I'm a little bit in trouble now, actually, because the guys kept waiting for me to say repairs, and I was like, it's coming. And I finally was like, yeah, you can go ahead and start sending them. And I'm up to about, I think, 57 or 58 amplifiers now sitting in the back that I can't get to. Thankfully, they're vintage stuff. And the guys are like, I don't care, just keep it. They're not using it. They just want it all recertified, refreshed, recapped. And we're doing some extra things in our repair shop that the other guys aren't doing. We'll pull the whole boards out, shotgun the whole thing. In some cases, depending on the amp, we'll rebatch right through the wave solder machine again, all 1,200 holes resoldered nice and fresh, and then rebuild the OEM. Like somebody goes get a 57 or 56 Chevy or whatever it
Yep.
is, and they, chassis build it. We'll do that all the way down to the ground, and where if you have an amp that's completely busted, you got beautiful heat sink. A lot of people keep these forever, even if the amps don't work.
Right.
Now I'm going to offer pre-stuffed replacement boards, original OEM, no change, not even the changes that I'm doing today for the new stuff. So if you've got an old Baby Red or 2150 or 2100 or 2250, whatever it is, and you want to do an actual replacement because that's your baby and you want it to be like it was when you bought it, we can do PCBs and parts for you to assemble on your own in your garage. I give you the BOM. I give you the bill of materials. You can do it yourself, you and your kids in the garage, or I can pre-stuff it for you, slip it right back into your heat sink as repair and replacement type stuff. So we're going full on with it, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, that's pretty awesome. So for me, I had a original Punch 150, the first model that ever came out.
Yeah,
I think 85-ish, 86-ish.
yeah. That's where I
Right?
got my first little Baby Red. That's about right there. Yeah.
So I got an original Punch 150. It cost me $750, for 150 watts.
Right.
And
Ryan Red 529. Ryan Red 529.
is it?
I remember those prices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Retail. Yeah.
So anyway, so I bought it and I blew a fuse inside. I replaced the fuse and then it blew something else. Right, the fuse
Yeah.
was the weak link, and then when I corrected that and it was no longer a weak link, then it actually blew something on the board. I had it sitting in my garage for like 3 years. I went to my
Yeah.
very first ever DB drag competition. Literally the week before I went to that competition. And this was one of those competitions that was put on by Rockford Fosgate. Rockford Fosgate used to put on DB drag events,
Sure.
and they
Yeah.
would travel the country and stuff.
Yeah.
And literally the week before, I was just like, "Dude, this is just a paperweight, man. I love this amp, but I'm gonna throw it away." And
Yeah.
I go to my first DB drag event, and I was telling the Rockford Fosgate, "Oh yeah, I used to have a Punch 150," and he's like, "Which one was it?" And I showed him a picture of it, and he goes, "What's wrong with it?" And he goes,
Mhm.
I go, "Oh, something with the board. I don't even know right now. It's just I blew a fuse, fixed it, fixed the
Mhm.
fuse, and then it blew something on the board." And he goes,
Mhm.
"If you can get it here me by tomorrow, I will repair it at no cost." He goes, "I was one of the original engineers on that amp, and I just love that amp." And I go,
Yeah.
"I just threw it away. Dude, it's in a landfill somewhere." And I was like,
Right.
"Oh, that would have been
I'm
such
not.
an awesome thing to have."
Look, I'm not. Look, I'm no Rockford fan, but I'm not
Mhm.
throwing no nostalgic Rockford shit away. You can believe that.
Well,
Okay, because
you
even
got to figure
I
this
have
was
my
like
own.
in '96, so the
Yeah.
thing was like
Oh,
10 years old,
years.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. No,
So,
I don't give a fuck what it is. If it's any of the brands that I competed against, with,
mhm.
for, again, I don't give a fuck. That's not going to garbage. That's a part of history. I got my own set of, right.
Uh,
People are like, what do you mean? I got my own set of fucking Rockford stuff. It's just a few pieces,
Yep.
but you know what? You cannot. Just like Baby Reds and all that, you
Hmm.
45, 75, you 150. I mean, that's where that money was. That's where
Yep.
that's what we all had fun with. It was affordable. It was we were all under $1,000 for amplifiers.
Yep.
No matter if you liked Orion, PPI, Rockford, it didn't matter. You
Yep.
were jamming. You
Oh,
could get into a fucking show for
oh
for
yeah.
for a couple of grand. You were competing. You
Yeah.
were competing.
I have a Odin, which is the Hyphonics brand. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay.
I think I have the 5. It was the 1988 version. So I had the
Wow.
Odin, which was the Hyphonics
I had
150,
Thor.
and okay, yeah, so same time frame. Uh,
Yeah. I just.
a- and then so I had the Odin, and then I had the Punch 150. The Punch 150 was for my 15s. The Odin was for my 12s, and that's what I
Yeah.
had driving around in my car. Anyway, so my brother-in-law actually bought the Odin from me back in probably 92, 93, and
Yeah.
today it is still functioning in his vehicle.
Wow.
He,
Yeah, you got me thinking right now with some of the, because you were like, yeah, some of the old school. I like, man, I could just,
yeah.
I'll get, yeah. So check this out. There's just
Uh-huh.
little bits and pieces, because the shit I got goes on for fucking years, bro. So, so It gets wild. It gets fucking wild. Some of the guys thought I was joking when I said I was fucking. People broke into my where I was building all this shit, prototyping all this shit in Arizona. Motherfuckers broke in my house, hit me upstairs. I was trapped in a fucking closet. I had to shoot my way out, bro. Yeah, but that was a fucked up shit. And one of the bullets flew off, hit the heat sink on a chip on one of the first prototypes. And I recently had offered that up to one particular friend of mine online that bought a lot of stuff. He's got the original amp that I was shot at with, but I won that shootout. Just so you know, I fucking
You're here.
yeah, I'm here. So yeah, bro, I was man. Look, in my fucking bathroom with my drawers on, no glasses, and couldn't figure out what was a 9mm and a fucking 386 because I went to the range and the shit was in the bag all scattered. You would figure that night motherfuckers are coming with me. So I'm like that in the dark, and I'm trying to load my motherfucking the clip, and you ain't gonna load the whole thing because I heard them coming upstairs. I dropped the power on my app. I hit about 4 bullets in the clip. That was all I could get in, and by the time I went click, I had 3 seconds. Pop, 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 and every fucking bullet hit. So, and it was pitch black, dark, silence through a fucking curtain. I was not fucking around with these people. I was like, dude, I got broken into when I was younger and stole all my fucking audio equipment. I don't know why the fuck y'all here, but you ain't leaving living with my shit. That's the way the fuck it was going down that night. And I have no idea why they were there. You know, in neighborhoods, you get these random smash and dashes and stuff. So I didn't take anything. Well, I didn't take it personally because I didn't die that night. But I probably would have had I died. I'd have probably been pissed off. So back to what I was saying. I got some. So, you know, back in the day when I first hit off on this, I was, doing a little pyramid power booster and a couple of passive radiators from the Superdome special show, Midnight Madness show, or whatever the hell. I think that was Mobile One's garbage. But anyway, I jump into this and I start building these enclosures basically because I sucked in fucking school, but geometry was my shit, right? So I got real deep into that, and I felt pretty excited at the fact that I can do volumes and this and that, and in my head, pretty serious, decent complications, decent mathematical figures that a lot of people just don't do. You know, you study it, you learn it. Right. And I was just, geometry was my thing, so I picked it up into the box building world, and then, but yeah, it was interesting. So in high school, right as I graduated, right before, I was running a 225 red that I had to finance for, $529, $50 a month from one of the finance companies. And I was running Savard Pro Series 12s. Reason I was running Savard, I was in New Orleans. Savard was in Baton Rouge. They were coming around the area. They heard I was building some pretty nice stuff. I was getting ready to put 1212s in a Mitsubishi walkthrough. And a lot of people wasn't doing that quite at that time, except the big guys, full vehicle builds, cutting your fucking wall, booting it up, full install. It's a big deal in 88, 87, 89. So I'm there running Savard. They don't have gear or anything. I'm in high school. I'm in art class. I'm making fucking Savard templates and doing the silk screening for T-shirts and shit. So I can go to shows, running Savard, having fucking gear. And they were sponsoring me, giving me subs and stuff and things. So I was with Savard early on. With Bill. Bill used to come around, and I say that because now Will, I see him running the company a little bit, and it looks like some nice stuff. I don't know the design or anything about it. It just looks good, and I like the name. And the reason I brought that up is because you're bringing back a lot of the old school stuff. Savard has a really nice following, and it's just one of them brands that, every show you had Autotech and Savard, or you had Orion in this, or you had Rockford in that. And it was a staple. And you're talking about these old school, and I'm saying, I really hope those guys do good as well, because I know they give a shit, and I know they care about their customers, and I know they're Southern boys like me, and we do care. And that's the truth. We don't like to let people down. And I talked to Will a few times, and I was like, hey, if there's any, I'm from the hometown. I don't really care what you need. If you need sources, if you need product, if you need this, if you need help, you tell us. I'll give you whatever I have. I just want to see. I want to see him kick ass. I want to kick ass. I want to build tons of shit too. And I think we're on our way. But one person, one company is not going to move our entire industry that we lost back here by ourselves. It's not going to happen. Nope. We need people involved. I would like to offer up services through my software development company as well as a design firm we have in order for people to create their own products or whatever it might be in the future. We don't know where we're bringing with that, but we do know we have the engineers that brought us all this stuff back in the day. And I don't mean like touch and go, like, oh yeah, he's a friend of mine. I work with these people every day. They're great people. They still love the industry. And yes, we are actively looking at new designs and new American made stuff every day, including the speaker world, which is the most challenging, as you know.
Yes, sir.
But right now, actually right now, sitting behind me is about 64,000 cones, 10,800 magnets, 38,000 dust covers,
Mhm.
and 48,000 spiders. Here, here. Let me show you. Because, yeah, and probably within, I'm hoping in the 30 to 60 days, we'll have some of our first, what we call new in the school, old box put togethers, which is the
Oh,
shit people been wanting.
right. Hey, I do
So
have a question for you.
that's where all these things. Up there, that's
Dang.
cones. That's about 20,000 because you got about
So
500 in the box
so you're able
because they
to
stack like
locally
this.
you're able to locally source the cones?
Well, you got to remember. Hang on. Oh, and then hang on. And then you got magnets back there.
Yeah.
See,
Yep.
we're running out of space. I'm actually moving across because we're out of space and we need
Mm-hmm.
more workspace. So we're moving we're tripling the size at the end of March, I believe, so we can start with the assembly. The stuff that we have
Mm-hmm.
is what we call new old school stock, meaning it's never was used. It came from, in fact, some of this stuff that's sitting behind me came from the factories that we worked at when they all went, bankrupt or sold, like
Right.
ADST and stuff like that. Some guys had stuff in California, some stuff guys had here in Arizona
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And just kind of getting together with everybody, figuring out what they had,
Mm-hmm.
bought a few people out, and also worked with a few people so we can trade. Hey, I got 14,000 10-inch cones, but I only have 5,800 baskets. What do you have? And then we've been
Oh
swapping
yeah.
out. So we got the original NT stuff, some of the original NT cones. We still have original. We got thousands of original NT dust caps. We can literally assemble everything almost back to the way, except for the voice coils. That's something that Enrique, one of the original engineers who put all that
Mm-hmm.
together. In fact, he's on his way here now, actually. The guy who, Enrique Styles, who worked for Mark Bucera back in those ADST days, actually before that, in the River Drive, the first Orion location. So
Okay.
he's actually on his way here now because we're actually actively trying to figure out which pieces that we have and which ones go together and such, put some prototypes together and do some samples.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's the guy who came into Orion when Orion first started their speaker, their amplifiers, and they brought speakers, the first
Mm-hmm.
ones with the Moon and Star logo. They were great, but there was a 3% return. You probably say, man, that's really great, 3%. And
Yeah.
that is really great, 3%. When they hired Enrique, because they didn't like 3%, because American company back in the 80s, we don't play
Right.
3%.
No.
We get it all right. So
Yeah.
at 3%, today that's a miracle number, but that back then you're like 3%. Enrique goes over there, and I think it was 4 or 5 months later, it was 0.02% return.
And
So
that's the
that's my
number you're
part.
looking for,
Yeah, well, I'm
right?
looking for fucking perfection. As he says, we shoot for excellence or whatever. We shoot for excellence and we shoot for perfection and land in excellence or whatever. Shoot for the
Yep.
moon, land on fucking stars. Point is that yeah, and in some cases, I got to deal with the fact that guys like this are super perfectionists and they
Oh
want to
yeah.
do everything right. And back in the day when they were working for the big companies, they would have all these amazing ideas and oh yeah, we love it. And then they would start, chop this out and chop that out and do this different and cut this out. And then you got junk again.
Yep.
Okay. So the excitement part right now is that the actual owners of this part of Orion that we're doing right now is us. There's no one on top of us, no one telling us what to do. I'm letting the engineers and myself do it the way it's supposed to be done. And then we're just going to put it that way. And whatever that dollar amount is, and then we add the 50% and we keep our profit margins up. So
Yep.
that's where we at right now.
Yeah, so my company Sonic FX, the whole reason it
Mhm.
started, I was doing R&D for DB Don a little bit. He did the Inhuman stuff out of Canada. I was doing
Mhm.
stuff for Arc Audio and Image Dynamics.
Mhm.
And what happened is I'm taking this stuff, I'm competing, and I'm like, hey, we need to tweak this in your amps. We need to tweak this on your subs. We need to do this.
Mhm.
And ultimately they go, look, I can't do that with our stuff because we do volume, and when we're doing volume, we can't do these little things. And yeah, it's only $1.50 more an amplifier, but we do, a
Yeah.
quarter of a million amplifiers in a year times a dollar
Right.
fifty. That's
That's up.
that's our CEO's paycheck by
That's
itself.
right.
And
That's
so
right.
we're cutting that. And I'm like,
That's right.
yeah, but it's going to make it more reliable and it's going to produce better and be cleaner. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter. We're willing to take the hit because nobody that's buying our product, very few people, the 1% of the 1% are
Hmm.
even
Hmm.
going to know or use that factor. And
That's a, I know
that's
that argument.
actually,
That's right.
yeah. And so that's actually why I started Sonic FX, because ultimately after they hear me say this for like a year and a half or 2 years, finally they said, look, you think you can do it and you think what, start your own company. And they actually helped me. Because back
Yeah.
then, you couldn't just start a company. You had to make a phone call and like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. We don't do that. And then, do you have any references? You tell them your references, they check your references, then they'd call you back. Okay, what do you need? You know, it wasn't like you can just call EconoWind and Precision or Eminence and say, hey, I need this, and they would supply it. They don't do that, back in the day. So, oh, I think you froze on me, Jack. Did I lose you? Oh, I think I lost Jack. When he gets back, we're gonna try and get him to tell us his origin story. Um, we were kind of having a little discussion about that earlier, and it was definitely what we want to do. Currently, he's froze up. Oh, let's
Oh,
see
there we
if
go.
he comes. There
Gotcha.
he goes.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right.
I'm here. Yep.
So
It
anyway,
busted broke out. Yep. So go ahead. Yep.
I don't know what you heard, but anyway, the
I heard. I heard when you went into the. Yeah. Go ahead.
oh, so yeah, so back in the day they didn't let you just start a company. They wouldn't sell you stuff. So you had to
Right.
send in references, they check your references, then call you back and say, "Okay, what do you need? Your references check out," right? So it was a little gatekeeper situation. And Arc Audio, Image Dynamics, and Don Hebig helped me get stuff started. And in turn, I helped a couple other
That's
people get
right. Yeah.
started. DC Audio helped Incriminator Audio.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I helped these companies get going
Yeah. Yeah.
and
No, I
started.
know that. Yeah. That's great.
You
That's great.
know,
I
move.
know, and I know those companies. Yeah.
Yeah. So, pay it forward, right? Help everybody out. But
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so when we were chatting, texting earlier, let's hear
Yeah.
your origin story. So who got you into bass?
Oh.
What's your origin
Okay.
story?
I can give you. I can give you. I'll give you a snapshot of like a 20-year thing, and then you can dive into on other
Okay.
episodes later down the road when we talk into it, because some of
Hmm.
it. So look, very early on, when I got into the first, I had my first little car and whatnot. Had a friend of mine, obviously like kids in the garage, just trying to figure out how to make
Hmm.
things work. That was obviously like a lot of starts. Where it went after that was I really got busy into the box building, started skipping out of school a lot because I lived across from the school, and which had its benefits, but and I had a nice little empty lot on the side of us, and kids would park their cars there to go to school because in some districts you couldn't do that if you didn't live in the district. Anyway, another day, another story. But had a lot of cars parking of all my friends I went to school with. So first thing you know, it came to a point where by the time I was in 11th grade, I was probably doing 3 alarms a day, on an average of pretty much every day or every other day. It was getting really really retarded to the point where my parents were like, "You think maybe you want to have a store or shop or something?" And I'm like, "I'm living a good life. I'm working out the house. I ain't got no bills." So it started right there. Doing a lot of alarms. By Excalibur GT 700. You familiar with that?
I'm
That
not.
four.
I just know the Clifford was the shit back in the
Okay,
day.
but wait, how old are you?
53.
Okay, all right, okay, so same time. Okay, so the Excalibur GT 700 was the little red brain. I used to at when I was 16 and 17, I used to get my little $54 together because that's what it cost. Drive to the city over distribution, get my alarm, bring it back home, in the evenings, or I would skip out of school and I'd start installing them. I was paying $50 and I was installing 350 for alarm with starter kill. That's what we used to do in door locks.
Okay.
So you're making 300 per alarm, and you're doing that 2 to 3 times a day minimum, and you're doing every fucking car in your neighborhood in the school. So
That's
that's
a good
kind of
day.
where that's kind of right. That's right. And that went on for 2 years and 2 summers until I bought out the store I was working for, which was New Orleans Auto Sound. So I went work for a company that was in business since the 60s or the late
Oh.
early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was there, and I mean, I assume I was one of the best installers. I was sure running circles around a lot of people, not in such a way that I was just better, period, but I was fast on alarms. I was better in such a way I was a high earner.
Mm-hmm.
So I wind up earning enough money to buy the store. The guy
Yep.
was going to retire. So
And
then
the
everybody worked for me.
well
Hmm.
for and people that don't know, those alarms that back then was
Hmm.
all about relays, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
you had to
Oh, you have to wire your shit.
yeah, it wasn't like you just hook it up to the
Oh my
ECM
God.
and be done, right?
No. It's
Like the
15
Ungos
wires all
today.
day plus a rack of fucking relays.
Yeah.
Before Viper was Viper, it was Thug Bug. And
Uh-huh.
Thug Bug came out with the second and third channel, which was wow, you know? We took those third channels and put them on a fucking cheese strap relays like 12 deep and used them to remote start back when there wasn't no remote start. We would click it and time it, timers and
Hmm.
relays, about 12 of them. It took 10 or 12 30-amp relays, the starter, ignition, and timing. It would be a pop, tick, 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 vroom, whoosh. That's what it sounded like. And we were doing
Yeah.
that shit that early on. But anyway, so you making pretty good. I was making pretty good money with that shit. I bought out the store. I wind up having 12 employees working for me. I was only 20 at the time. I had just graduated, so I was starting pretty young.
Hmm.
I made 21 that year after I bought that store. And I had my 12, it was 17 employees, which I took really fast down to about 11 or 12 because, well, I worked with the other knuckleheads. I knew who the knuckleheads were.
Right.
So they were going like the next day after I paid for that place. So started building a lot of competition cars. That store that I bought was the first store that ever put on a USAC Crank It Up. I think it was USAC's
Oh.
first ever show ever in history,
Okay.
if I'm not mistaken. I got the
Okay.
plaque for that. And if it wasn't the first, it was the second or the third, but I think it was the first. And got really involved with that. Started seeing like some of the old school bass guys, Shaker and Alton Quave and Corey and them down in Prestige. They were building big stuff too in the background. I was doing stuff. We all met up through the years along the way and
Do you
hung out
know
together, worked together, traveled
do you
together.
know the
Mhm.
Riley brothers? Alan and
Uh,
Bobby?
Probably,
Okay.
maybe,
Well,
yeah, the
they're out
faces
of
I'm better.
Missouri,
Mhm.
so they had
Yeah.
some of the big builds in the early
Oh, then I
2000, late
probably ran
90s.
across them. I did all of them. I did the Memphis show, the Nationals and all. They're 90, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way till I got kind of irritated with the industry because of what was going on with their
Uh-huh.
shows and all that. But which we've probably talked about, beat a dead horse a million times over the last couple of decades of all that shit that happened. But went from there, built some competition cars. I 1 year I built about 12 cars and we placed basically with all of them and all the local shows and on nationals. So I started getting more people bringing their cars to me. And this was early on before a lot of the other better or bigger installers started popping up in my area. And a lot of the guys growing up in the industry coming, getting really good, doing some extraordinary work. I still know and talk to a lot of them today. So went from there, and then it
Hmm.
quickly jumped over to I'm in my store. I'm on Veterans Boulevard. I built this new store on a main highway. And then, right in around 2000, 2001 is when we started seeing, the ships coming ashore from the 95 trade deal. By 2003, that shit was what I was doing in New Orleans was pretty dried up, but I had already started DriveSoft, which was the in-car mobile computing technology shit I did in 99. I was
Okay.
actually taking um I had computers in cars playing MP3s, but there was really no way to control it with a standard. We didn't have small touchscreens back then in 98, 99. It was very archaic. And I found jackpot machines being thrown away, restored, whatever you want to call them, refurbished, and they were removing all of the LCDs out of them. Well, Japanese jackpot machines have had higher resolution than some of our TVs for the longest time, and the screens are this big. So I get 480 by 800 at that time, high resolution, small 7, 8, and 10-inch screens being removed from jackpot machines. So I take those screens and I find a company called Earth Computers in California who was surplusing all of the LCDs and driver boards. So I get with them and we put it together. And now I have an in-car touchscreen computer system in 1999 holding almost 2,000 MP3s before people knew what MP3s were. I was
Damn.
friends with the fellow who started Napster, Sean Fanning, not the Sean Fanning from Facebook, but the other Sean Fanning. They know each other, but the other Sean Fanning, the starting of Napster.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew him through online AOL trading music. He had a lot of music, of course. And so the internet was so fucking slow, 56K modems. Me and Sean and a guy, another fellow up in Canada, was shipping UPSing hard drives to each other. So,
Oh, okay.
2.5 gigabytes. I put 1,000 songs, he'd put 1,000, and we just, it was easier, faster to do the little
Ship 'em.
triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course, the story is true. Sean, he goes out there and puts the CD to his college, and then it starts growing, and then all hell broke loose. So fast forward, did some shit with that. So I was out of the game, but in the game, I was doing in-car computing, MP3 development, GPS. I was working with Navtech, Teleatlas,
Mm-hmm.
GPS navigational companies, some of the first terrain navigational companies, some of the stuff we see today where you can see Google Maps and all that.
Right.
I witnessed and played and helped organize some of those structures as early as 2002 and 2003. That was a very long time ago. I
Yes,
saw
it
it when it was
was.
mesh. I saw it when it was mesh. It was just mesh. We were driving over mesh in the terrain,
Mm-hmm.
on the map, on the visuals. I
Mm-hmm.
still actually have that fucking data, believe it or not, from those companies who was so it went to there. I started doing drive soft, GPS, AM, FM, TV, navigation, CD player, DVD player, again, GPS and all that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
along with hacking into cell phone with the little USB cables so we can use the old StarText and stuff as data. We were actually using data before data was data, before you could buy it.
Right.
So hacking that, you dial the fucking number and you transfer it to a data line. And now man, I'm gonna tell you something. 2002, 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I'm going to CES and I'm driving across the country, dude, I am connected full time going across the whole fucking deserts, all the way with data. Couldn't talk for shit on a voice. I
Right.
got data all the way. How we got streaming data like that across America 18 years ago? We were with old shitty StarTech phones and shit. Think about that. That's nuts. So we were doing that with all kind of goofy stuff. Then you fast forward to MTV Pimp My Ride, and
Yeah.
that's right when I was over here with ADST when the crackpot that was running it decides he wants to, do something good, and he turns it into something fucking horrible. They get me. They got some European company that sends them some kind of a PC hard drive thing to do MP3 stuff. Well, I knew people over there, so they called me, said, "Hey, they got this junk over here that's not working. Didn't you develop some shit like that 2 years ago?" I was like, "Yeah, my shit. I've been running my shit for 2 years. It's all working." And
Right.
they're like, "Well, can you demonstrate it for us?" So I drove 17 hours from New Orleans all at once, stopping in, but about total about 23 hours to Arizona to ADST to show them a prototype of what they've been trying to get working with this European company apparently for some time.
Hmm.
So I showed up there, had it fully working, and certain people that were running that company, which I do not like at all today because I know what they did behind the scenes
Right.
now. After the fact, hindsight's a bitch. But I didn't even sell them on. I just fucking pulled up and dude was like, "I want that. Get it online." I was like, "Okay." So I started developing this shit that I already had going. I get 3,500 inquiries from CES in 2001, getting phone calls, unfucking believable. But the whole time ADST is crumbling because they can't pay their bills. So I
Oh.
get so there I am. I'm here in Arizona, younger kid, obviously trying to make something big happen, working with these different engineers and trying to get my feet wet, leaving my home, leaving my stereo shop behind, and everything to come do this, to not only find out the most deepest, darkest fucking secrets in this fucking industry. I feel at that time no one knew. It was so horrible for me to see that. I wish I would have never saw it because it made me realize quickly how I got fucked when I was in my audio business. And it really pissed me off, especially working for the very company who was a part of that fuck show,
Yeah.
and understanding how it happened. And the fact that it happened to so many of us because it was multi brands under one roof. Okay, I get there only 4 years later after getting the shit kicked out of me in the retail world because of Best Buy, Circuit City, everybody fighting for the marketplace in New Orleans. And I had to navigate between all that. So I get over here to this factory and I start doing my thing. Not, you don't necessarily want to say as much as, but you don't want to say too much.
Right.
Everybody know what you're doing. So I'm over there doing my thing, and it's pissing people off because I'm there in a secret type situation because people keep stealing from each other in these companies all over here,
Oh,
stealing from this person, knowing what they're
yeah.
doing. And I was so far ahead of the curve on the MP3 and car player stuff, like before Kenwood, before all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we just knew the moment that shit comes out, it's going to be copied. Not to mention 8
Oh,
million
yeah.
people every fucking Sunday night watching on TV.
Yep.
I had 2 years after MTV launched in '04, 2 years. I'm at the Lexus car dealership. That's my fucking menu. Divided by 10, same spacing, everything in that Lexus. What is somebody like me going to do? People would laugh if they say that happened. But these days, we know people like Justin Hartson and whatnot, who
Mm-hmm.
has caught motherfuckers stealing from him in China and went and sued him and won. It happens. Some
Yep.
people have more money to do that. Like I didn't when I was younger at that
Right.
time. But then again, what the fuck do I know? It's a big car manufacturer. I was proud to know that came out 2 years after what I did. And
Right.
then I continuously started seeing copying effects in the limousine world, in the RV world. I started building electrical systems for all these different industries. So that's where it went. Pimp My Ride hit. 8 million people saw it every weekend of some of the stuff we can do. I started getting phone calls about specialty systems and specialty vehicles. Again, limousine world. I build control systems, touchscreens for the limousine to control the AC, the air, the lighting, the multimedia. We all build that here in Phoenix, all of it, and ship
Mm-hmm.
it actually all over the world. And then it goes, and then the Pimp My Ride thing obviously helped out with some of that retail stuff. So I'm there, I'm doing drive soft. Everything's going on for a decade or so. Some different difficulties with economy and whatnot, like everyone else. And then first thing you know, I'm just jumping way
Yeah.
ahead because there's a lot of shit in the middle. I'm jumping way ahead to say, well, so I'm sitting there and I'm doing all this. And handicap products as well. I enjoy doing that because it's really helping people. We build
Mm-hmm.
one of only two companies in the world. We build handicap wheelchair docking systems. It's called EasyLock. If you go to easylock.net,
Okay.
basically anything electronic on there, I build that. So that's all there, and for a few different companies that I do things for like that. And by the way, if anybody is in any kind of disability situation in any of our groups or anywheres here now, whatever, and you're in the situation where you have a wheelchair and you drive in it, hit me up. I'll get you whatever docking station locks you need. I'll toss one out to you. It's not a big deal. Anybody in the audio community that's not
Right.
the freaking whole world. I'm talking about our social media group, people that we talk to. If anybody need anything, I can either hook you up with it or give you the company directly and get you taken care of. I like to do that in the handicap world because it makes a difference.
Oh, yeah, it
Anyway,
does.
so fast forward. We're over here. I'm sitting down with COVID. It's around 2018 and 19, and I see some of the guys online with some Orion boards and different amps with holes all the way through, and they're like, yeah, the capacitor, this, that, whatever, shorted out, burnt a hole in the board, whatever the case is, it doesn't matter. So I'd seen some pretty heavy damage, and it caught my eye because I saw a guy asking around to get it repaired, and really couldn't be repaired, and it was a gorgeous heat sink, not a scratch on it, perfect, 30 years old, beautiful. I said, wow, that's horrible. I went down, I grabbed some of my old schematics that I had from Orion. I called a few people and seen what they had, the latest versions. That didn't work out. So I bought like 8 or 9 baby reds off of different people.
Mm-hmm.
It costs a few penny these days, and stripped them all apart and found all the revisions and all the different patches and fixes that they did through the years. I found the latest version of every single Orion amp made, all the different models, meaning like version F, if that's the last one they left off with.
Right.
I went there, and then of course I just tweaked it a little bit to make sure it's the footprints all work with the modern parts. And
Mm-hmm.
I did that on every single board. I started with 18. That was because of COVID. And then, well, here we are now. I have every platform Orion's ever made ready to be built, ready to release. We've got about 8 to 10 years of product. I can do this for 10 years and not even trip over the same thing twice. We have all of our artwork, all of our digital stuff, all of our vector files, all of our original machine tooling and jigs and vices and everything. And we can literally turn on the key which is what we did starting. We didn't start in 83 though. GX, we started around 92. What we're doing today
Yeah.
is kind of from 91, 92 on up. We can do the older stuff, which we play with our friends, but retailable, marketable, good, solid equipment started around in 92. So we basically just turned the key back on for 1992 and giving it back what we used to before everything became a clusterfuck. True pro audio, no crossovers in here, nothing. It's an amplifier. You want an amplifier? Here's an amplifier. That's all it does. It amplifies. Do you
Turn
want a
12.
crossover?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Turn
You
12
want a
volts
crossover?
into whatever, 120 volts,
Whatever.
right? That's what it does.
You want your two-way, your three-way crossover? Well, I'm not gonna stick some watered down bullshit in here so I can tell you I have one. Get your lazy ass and your broke ass out and go buy a fucking crossover if you're gonna be playing with this stuff. And I can say that because you shouldn't be playing with this kind of stuff if you're trying to, look, pay your bills, take care of your family. You don't need to buy this bullshit. But if you're out there and you want to have some good product, don't be lazy. Put a spot for your crossover. Get you your EQ in the front, your parametric EQ in the front. Throw you a couple amps and throw you a couple speakers, and leave all the other bullshit out. You're gonna get some amazing clean sound. I want to mention this. A lot of people say the same thing, and I think you probably agree. Half these fucking cars sound like shit because they're buying all this super high-end expensive stuff, these DSPs and these network devices and all. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. The car sounds worse than it would if you just left it alone with a head unit, an EQ, AB class amp going to 2 speakers. I can promise you it sounds better. I get in these fucking cars and I'm like, you spend $17K, huh, man? 2 Audison amps, 3 fucking D.I.C. network cables all over the fucking place. It's computer screen, laptop, fucking, vibrator in the corner, whatever. They still can't get it to sound good. Explain that. It was troublesome enough with EQTs. We had to know what we were doing.
Yep.
With, third octave shit.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing today. You got these guys, some friends of mine from old school. They got their old amplifiers. Their kids are building cars. They're buying this shit off the marketplace. And I'm not even saying any brand in particular. I'm talking about all of them. I don't favor any of them these days. If it ain't an American piece made here in America, AB class stuff, I generally don't put it in my vehicle. So I don't really know how fucked up the other stuff sounds other than hearing it. When I hear it with other people, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like what? It's not warm. It doesn't feel crisp. It sounds like, I don't even have a word for it. Just shitty. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. So
shitty.
I think a lot of that has to do with we're listening to digital recordings now, and I explain
Yeah.
to people all the time, even a tape, like you go to an old cassette tape, still has warmth to it, like a old vinyl does,
Yeah.
right? So and
Wow. Thank you for
we've
saying that. I
lost
get
that.
called an asshole when I say that. No, go
No,
ahead.
and
Yeah.
we've lost that warmth in the music, right?
That's
And
right,
the
man.
stuff. And
That's
I
right.
I believe with the equipment today you can bring out those sounds, but you have to know what you're doing to
That's what
bring
I'm
those
saying.
sounds out.
That's
They
what I'm saying.
they
You
they
can't.
exist. You
They
just have to
exist.
know how to, like a food, you got to know the right flavors to add to make it
That's right.
shine, you know.
I can agree with you. That's exactly my point. It's not that the technologies and these different brands, these higher end, like I say, I use Moscone and Audison only because I hear people talk about, and then you got the Morel, and it's a great products, but they're extensive, and there's a lot of bells and whistles and shit, and people don't know how to use it. That's all
Hmm.
I'm saying. The technology can be amazing,
Yep.
but if you don't know how to fucking turn it on. So
Yep.
my point is, I'm like, fucking CD player, whatever. CD
Hmm.
player, maybe a 6-band parametric EQ. Why you only need that? Because you're supposed to know how to set your audio up to begin with. Throw you a pair of separates, spare coaxials, couple 12s in the trunk with 2 AB class amplifiers. It's going to be the purest sound you're going to fucking hear. I'm not saying it's going to be the loudest. I'm not saying you're going to go beat
Hmm.
everybody in the world. If I know kids that are doing that right now, some of the younger kids have folks, like I say, their dads are like, oh, hey, check
Hmm.
this out. I'm working with a few of them now. They're taking like, say, a Phoenix Gold, something, whatever, the latest, whatever brand, usually D class of whatever that's in a few years old, taking it out, putting this in place, and then throwing on some Fleetwood Mac, for example, same
Yep.
song. Now, I'm telling you, I had a friend of mine call me. He's like, dude, my kid didn't even know what hit him. He said he spent fucking $8,000 on all this shit, and I'm trying to help him tune his car. I can't get it to sound right. He said, wait, he went and grabbed an old Phoenix Gold, you know, that slider, you remember the third octave, the Phoenix Gold, I think it was third octave, the big white one.
The oh yeah,
Yep.
uh-huh.
That long, and he went and got was it MPS the white the 44 the MPS 44 whatever the fuck those amps were we used to sell. I forgot the model
Okay.
number. The Phoenix Golds. He literally he swapped them out with his old Phoenix Golds, and his fucking son was like, I cannot believe this. Night and day. Night and fucking day. Didn't touch anything. Went to take that out, put this in, take that out, put this in, turn it on. Warmth, crisp, felt good. Didn't twirl a lot of time. I'm just telling you what people are saying. You know, everybody's like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, no, listen to me, man. Go. I'm gonna let a secret out right now. All of the amplifiers I put in my bench, including Orion's, straight run of the mill, the blacks, the reds, and such. Okay, that's a certain platform. I have to be honest with you. Even I can take this NT amp and take off in a brand new Orion Red. I can build right now and take that platform and put this NT in its place. You hear the fucking difference. That's insane. That's why this amplifier, that's why we came out with this first. I've never heard anything that sounded better. It's the purest of purest you can ever do. In fact, in 94, I think it was 94, 93 or 94, when Rockford was out there talking about, we got the best sounding amplifiers in the world. You know, everybody says that, right? I think by 95, or it was 94, when I believe in the story, I may be a little off, but I think Sam told Mark, hey, I need the best fucking sounding amplifier, period. And no expense, just do it. This came out. A few months later, Rockford wasn't running that ad anymore. It was factually proven on the bench. This motherfucker sounded better. Factually. And that never happened again. This amp still stands strong today. That's why the reason we did it here. So that's kind of where we're at now. And I have a lot more. Now I'll be more prepared next time we talk.
Yeah.
I'll have, you know, more I can dial in so we're not so scattered, because I got some subjects that'll probably, you know, things that would be nice to talk about and
That's
fun
good.
stuff too.
Yeah.
So other people around.
Are you familiar with the Zapco brands?
I do. You know, I used to love Zapco. I don't know anything about them today. Back in, say, 94, 95, 96.
Robert Zeff days.
Yeah, I had an employee who started working for me, and he was running Zapco, and it was the first introduction I had to it. I fucking loved it.
Yep. So
I loved it. I don't know anything about it today.
Yep.
But I was like, man, I fucking love it. So yeah, I can tell you that.
So the 3-piece Zapcos were exactly like Andrew McCain here posts, you know, it's the chef, not the ingredients, right? They can provide you the ingredients, but if you don't know how to put them together properly, it doesn't have the same flavors, right?
Absolutely.
So
and I didn't want to, and by the way, I didn't want to like hit it too hard. I mean, you know, today we talk differently. Okay. Back in the day, you wouldn't catch me fucking dead walking around anybody with a Kicker or a Rockford shirt or a sound, whatever. You know, that's the way it used to be, right?
Right.
I'm speaking in old school format. Obviously today, honestly, I'm fucking, you know, it's really cool to see all the fucking guys. And I get to make fun of him again. I got a good friend who's amazing, fucking the best Rockford fucking dude in the country. I gotta fuck with him every day. I'm like, dude, I can't find that piece of shit you said. That's what we do. That's fun. So I just want to keep that clear. We want everybody to succeed, but we have to do what we did before, and we have to state the facts. I'm the best. You need to buy my stuff. I mean, that's how we had to do it. So everybody's got to agree with that, no matter what you're selling. You got whatever you're selling, it's the best. And everybody needs to recognize that. So yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
So I had a quick question too, because we've already extended beyond our hour.
I'm hanging with you. Go ahead.
So what, you know, I met you for the first time at World Finals this year. Obviously you told me you were excited about this stuff. It kind of reinvigorated you at the World Finals. What did you see there that kind of like stood out to you and just said, I want to be part of this, and made you like a ring sponsor and all that stuff?
Okay, well, again, I'll try to keep it short. I know I get winded, long-winded, but so I noticed that a few guys there, and obviously loud is irrelevant. I knew it was going to be fucking loud. That's not the point.
Automatic.
But it allowed me to get a little bit of an insight. You know, when I left the industry in '98, And that's another topic we'll get into later. Now, when I left the Engine 9 Day, it was a little bit because I was pissed off of some different things that was happening. Okay,
Hmm.
some not so nice cheating things that was happening, and just got aggravated and I went out. But when I saw the guys, when I started seeing the Shard DB drag, obviously I recognized the builds and the not the technology, but the skill set of these
Hmm.
guys. Very
Yep.
good. Taking things at a different angle than what we used to, but and it doesn't, and these are the things where I can step aside from what I like or what I believe and say I don't like this shit or that shit. This is different. I'm talking about skilled for installers that are
Hmm.
putting stuff together that's doing some incredible numbers. Now, I can argue the point all day long and say, oh yeah, well it's 80 hertz and 70 hertz, but we know damn well these vehicles can bang the shit out of it at 50 hertz too.
Right.
Maybe they're not doing the world records at the 50 hertz, but I don't care. It's technology. If we're talking about, forget brands, forget all that shit, and we're talking about guys that are doing some incredible things and using the technology they have at its full extent, that's what I saw, and that's what kind of got me thinking. You know what? I'm probably going to dibble and dabble with some things because what I did notice the incredible amount of work those guys are putting in there and the kind of shaking they're doing and busting out glass and metal. And we did a little bit of that back in the day.
Hmm.
But I'll say this, I don't want to give away too much. Not that there's any super secrets, but I'll give you this analogy and I guess that's where we can finish it. Um, had a family member who used to race dragsters. Okay, funny cars dragsters. You go down the strip, you're blowing a $40,000 motor. It's pretty much what you want to do. You want to rack that motherfucker out a split second before the finish line because you know you gave it all you got.
Yep.
And and so all that stuff was custom. You know, you didn't go to AutoZone to get a carburetor for the motherfucker. Okay, you probably had your own block milled out in there. I forgot what he was doing. He would spend some serious money. All those guys do.
Hmm.
And so that industry created itself. It got from street racing to this serious top fuel dragster. You couldn't go to Walmart and get an oil filter anymore. I'm seeing the industry where we're to this point where I'm not too sure how much further DB can go.
Hmm.
There's going to be some type of a barrier. I think they're pretty close with the designs they have now. Remember, we had certain designs, we got to a certain amount. They've got this new style in D class and everything else, and they to a certain amount. I'm curious of what that is,
Hmm.
and what I'm going with this is, um, they don't really make a drag racing product. Everything these guys are using is off the shelf. I know the subs might be a little extra done for them and stuff, but the amplifiers, they're buying it off the shelf from the different brands. And again, this is not
Hmm.
about who's better as a brand, just 5,000, 10,000 watt amps, whatever the fuck.
Hmm.
They're buying it off the shelf. And those amplifiers are producing everything they possibly can as they should, because we're not trying to do baby red cheaters. There's not like slipping
Right.
under a wattage class. So I'm looking at that and thinking, well, if it's truly balls to the fucking wall, if it's truly balls to the wall, why no one's making actual dragster equipment for these guys? I'm not going to
Yeah.
say one more word past that. That
Yeah.
That's where I
No.
end with, because then we're going to talk too much, okay?
No.
Why can't a company, a manufacturer like us, who has every fucking tool behind us to build exactly what those guys needs, shape, fit, format, power, which meaning heat control, the whole nine yards.
Hmm.
You got guys not going to Walmart and buy batteries anymore. They're buying these lithium packs. They're spending fucking $5,000 on batteries.
Yep.
What stops these top fuel dragsters, or AKA the guys like we saw in, I call them top fuel guys, top fuel
Right.
dragsters, right? In such a way.
Hmm.
Well, what about those guys? I said, what about them?
Yep.
What about giving them product that you can't fucking break? The reason they can break product is because the product also has to be retail, and there has to be some fit and form for the customer. Fuck fit, fuck form. Imagine if it was just pure power. And like I said, we'll leave it at that. You guys can see what we'll do,
Okay.
because when you're a manufacturer, these guys that are competing are looking at us going, "Hey man, can you do?
Yep.
Well, sure, we can do any fucking thing you want. If you actually had a person to talk to. Again, I know the big heavy hitters out there, like we could call the factories and say, hey, this and this. But you know what? As many shows as I did and as many records as I held, And as well as I knew the guys at Orion, do you really fucking think I could have called them and said, "Hey man, I need a different amp for me. Build me one right now, platform for." No, that's not going to happen. What
No.
I'm telling you is, this day and age, we are so far gone. We are so far along. We're so old. We're vintage. So what are we going to do? Well, let's do maybe like I say, like the Top Fuel dragster place. You're not going to Walmart and buy some Mickey Thompsons. You shouldn't be going to Mobile One or ABC Audio to buy some shit that you're about to blow the entire fucking inside of your vehicle apart with. How about going to, for example, in Santa Ana, when BMX was kicking, you had Redline, GT, Cook Brothers Racing. A lot of people don't realize these names came from race cars. These guys were welding fucking chrome moly. And then the
Yep.
bike guys were like, "Fuck, that's light, that's strong," and that's how Cook Brothers Racings and Redline and all those bike companies started. Same kind of all those analogies is what I'm getting
Right.
at. So,
So
anyway,
what?
but there's a lot of depth to go in that.
Yeah.
We can go
So
later at some time.
what were your thoughts on like the Cyclone and the Top Dog and the Base Race? As a different format than what you were used to.
Yeah, when we get into the formats, it made me feel better. It did, because
We're
I
playing
didn't like the
music.
whole. Yeah, because let me tell you something. As much as I appreciate the big hitters, the one I'm just not calling people's names out. The
Yeah.
big hitters out there,
Mhm.
I love to see that stuff. That's not really where the mass is. That's not the.
Yep.
That's to say, look what we can do,
Hmm.
and that's a fucking amazing. That's
Yep.
amazing. But your other stuff, man, appeals to so many different people.
Yeah.
I could see people getting back in it. I was really worried about how we going to get people back in it after it's
Mhm.
so, well, it got dry a while back.
Mhm.
No, man, these different lanes and categories and the online shit, I couldn't pay as much attention as I wanted to while I was there.
Mhm.
But yeah, I loved all that. I think it's a great setup. I didn't expect all of those different things that you showed me there, the way you were doing it. That was
Yeah.
awesome, actually.
Yeah.
That was awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, between watching the guys blow shit apart and seeing that
Mhm.
whole process,
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. And like I say, we want to do some stuff, and I want to talk to some of those guys one day, because we do have some abilities to do some pretty wild stuff. And yes, we do have. I always talk down on the D class that, listen, that's not a problem. We can do 5K to 10K to 20K stuff. It just depends what we want to put our hands in first. And and
Right.
and no, we're not using Korean platforms. I'd like to state that. Every single thing we do here at Run Industries, AB class, D class, whatever's in the future, no,
Okay.
it's 100% drawn up, designed by us. And yeah, as some of the guys, I don't know who the guys may be online now, but on our social groups, I post literally while I'm doing the designs, all the 3D stuff, even the modeling, even when I model up all the art logo, I do it all in house myself. I write all the G code, all of the machine code that writes all this out, the tool path, all of that in house. And I say in house because that part I actually personally do all of it. There's some other stuff like the speaker stuff Enrique does and different things, but that part we do it all in house. So some of the I like to post that online because everybody can talk. There's
Yeah.
a few amplifier companies out there that, oh, US man, you amplifiers, we make them here. No,
U.S.
no, you
assembled.
don't. Yeah, yeah, if that. How
Yeah.
about how about opened up, sliced, pulled out of another box, stuck some shit in it, and retaped it and called it USA made? That kind of shit. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's pretty much where we at today, and we want to
Okay.
stick to that format because we find it's a good one. And I'm hoping you're gonna help me push that shit too.
Oh, absolutely. All right.
Because
So
you don't have to be product bias actually
no.
because you know what, like I tell other people, if it's American made and you're trying to do and you're trying to make good on a real American product, I'm more power to them. I hope everybody can do well with that. you know
So I will tell you, we do have at least 10 shops that I'm aware of that watch the podcast on the regular,
oh,
and
cool,
they
cool, cool.
end up, um, they become major dealers for some of the people like DC Audio actually spread worldwide because we do have quite a few
Nice.
international people that watch this.
Hmm.
And so like DC Audio started getting some stuff in parts of the world that they've never had
Sure,
equipment before.
sure.
Incriminators had some stuff go out and about here and there.
Hmm.
We did have US Amps when they did their revamp that they just did, what, 2 years
Hmm.
ago, whatever.
Yeah.
And then people were like, oh, and so there's a possibility people are gonna be interested in that. Oh, I
Wait, hang on.
sparked something.
I'm sorry. Somebody was trying to get in. Hang on.
Oh, I thought I
I'm sorry.
sparked something there.
No. It's okay. I'm back.
All
I'm
right.
back. It's
All
okay.
right. Anyway, so but traditionally we end the podcast with the same question to all our guests, and so there's no wrong answers here. It's your opinion. So,
Mhm.
what is your definition of a bass head?
Oh, snap. Well, I mean, that seems basic. I hope it's not a trick question.
No, it's not
I
your
guess,
question.
I
It's
guess,
just
yeah, I guess mine did base says. I think it's every motherfucker I know. Basically, just loading your shit up in a trunk and just still to this day though playing it. Not someone who claims, oh, I got this stuff in my room. No, actively fucking going to work in the morning, getting Starbucks, and rattling the motherfucking window and the coffee inside of Starbucks. That's a fucking base head.
okay.
And that ain't changed for me.
Yep.
Every opportunity I can, if I got something to beat, I'm shaking somebody's rearview mirror in the front of me.
Mm.
It's
Well,
just the way it is.
I will say I'm a high profile person for stereo stuff,
Mhm,
and because I'm out on the internet and whatnot, my stuff
mhm.
was getting stolen once a month. And after a couple of years of that, I literally I haven't put anything in my car since probably 2010 because
Man,
I'm just tired of my windows getting broken and my shit getting stolen.
the last one I had that was in 20 my van the Orion competition van that it got broken into, which crazy enough, yeah, I got some big amps out of it, but that was in 98, and I never built another vehicle with anything major, and again, except like side stuff that I was just using, to test.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it is a pain in the ass. This time I do plan on rigging out. I do have a 450 that we use for the company a lot, and
Hmm.
we'll use it for the travels, and I'm gonna put a little something in there. Probably
Yeah.
probably a couple of these guys here, the scorched earth ones. Nothing crazy loud, just sounds good.
Right.
Um,
I'll have to tell you the story real quick. So
yeah, go ahead.
speaking back to the quality of some of the stuff. So I told you I had the Punch 150, I had the
Yeah.
Hyphonics 150, and then I had the Hyphonics Odin, which was the 100. No, Odin was the 150. The Cyclops was the
Mhm.
100.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
so I had the Cyclops running a pair of TS 6900s, which was the
Hmm.
6x9s by Pioneer, three ways, and they were in a Trans Am. They were in the back of my car. I put some kicker tweeters. They were square, but they were round dome tweeters, but the box around them. I still have these
Hmm.
square tweeters to this day, and they sound great. They're silk domes, very old. I mean, I think they're from 88-ish. I had the 6x9s in the back. I had two 12s and two 15s in the back seat. Essentially, took out my back seat and made a wall there. 15s
Yeah,
facing up, 12s facing forward. I didn't know what I was doing. Sealed boxes, but
yeah.
I will tell you, I listened to Hell's Bells in that car. And at the beginning, when it was, I mean, I get chills today just thinking about the sound
Hmm.
that came out of that car. And I was running those amps, and it was all put together by a Craco EQ booster
Yeah,
deck,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And using that EQ and that stuff, um, I'm telling you, uh, it felt like I was inside the bell, and that's where I was telling you the difference in sound from a cassette because I switched to CDs in that car. That was
Yeah,
actually the time of
yeah.
frame where we were plugging a CD into the
Right,
tape deck,
right, right.
right?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and
That's what I was going to tell you earlier with the tape deck thing when you said about the crisp. We
yeah,
got off topic, but I was saying I had a CD player
hmm
and I had my tape deck. Remember the Sony XM80? It sucked it into the dash. I think the 80, it sucked it in. It was
okay,
one of the best cassette decks they made. And a buddy of mine who worked for me, he's like, yeah, I can tell the difference between a fucking cassette and a CD all day, every day, guaranteed. I said,
yep,
well, I took them head unit and put them next to each other with two speakers on the bench and just A B'd it. And I said, which one is on? He could not tell. That fucking old school Sony XM80, that little, you know what I'm talking about? the little fin line. It would
I
slide out. You'd
I
put it in, it would
remember
suck it in the
it's.
dashboard.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
I couldn't
I
afford
still
that.
have two of them. I have two. They were expensive. They were like 300
Yeah,
some dollars.
yeah,
I got two of them bitches over here, and I keep them to play my tapes, all my vintage tapes,
mm,
and they sound amazing,
they do.
amazing. So anyway,
So,
yeah,
but
for real though.
okay. So, how do people find you, see you, follow your stuff? What do
Um,
we do?
all right. Well, first off, a lot of content goes out on the Orion old school Orion Facebook page. If you look it up, I believe it's the exact, because there's two of them, but we have control. You know, it's both of them are ours, but it's old school Orion Car Audio, and that's on the
Okay.
Facebook groups. And you can see I show a lot of the builds, a lot of the stuff I'm doing, some of the prototyping, everything all the way down to the anodizing. I even show PCB factory laminating our boards down the street for us.
Oh,
Um, like I say, everything, Doug, everything is here. I like I say, I used to own audio stores and shit like that too. And you can say to some guys online, and everybody tell, oh yeah, it's US this and this and this, and I think it is very important right now. I always held back a little bit, but right now I think we have a duty to buy as much as we can from the U.S. I just believe
hmm,
that right now, and that's not just because I'm the one doing it. I think that's from all companies. We should
yep,
push them to do that.
yep.
But yeah, yeah, I don't have much to say. The industry really got fucked. That's all I could say. And right now, I think people see it, and I feel good about it. And I think a lot of it's gonna come back in our favor. I think so.
Yep. All right. So they can catch you on the Facebook's probably the best way to get a hold
Yeah,
of you,
sorry,
right? See
I
you,
meant to
right?
say that you can catch me on that. Yeah, my bad.
No, that's fine.
You can catch me. My point was to the audio guys listening is that we, honest to God, are really doing it. Like, I fucking sand heat sinks every night. We run batch solder ovens on all of our fucking boards. In fact, look, real quick, right here, I ran these six through. That I didn't even take them off the rack yet. Hang on, because we just setting the place up. This is just like out of the oven, like they're still on the racks, not even cut yet. So when I say we're doing them, we're truly, truly, truly doing it. Every bit of it. And I just think it's important because that's what we feed off of. People say, "What do you do? That's so special." Well, nothing. We're just doing all the work here in America, and we're doing it the right way. That's all. And I just hope people will, spend a couple extra dollars or take the time to see what we have and
Hmm.
learn what we have, so that way they can see, oh man, that's a 200-watt amplifier. Okay, it does 1,000 watts, but why would I spend $1,800 on 1,000 watts? Put it in your car. You'll quickly know why. Why would you spend, I don't know, $3,000-4,000 on an Audison or a Moscone? I think them things go up that high, don't they? I don't even know what that world brings. I think they got amps out there for 6,000 and 7,000. I don't know. That shit better be doing something and more making my ears feel good. It's better be making everything else feel good when I'm listening to it. But
Yeah.
point being is you spend 15, 16, 17, 800, $1,800 on one of these motherfuckers. You're never going to get rid of it. It's going to go in every single car, and it's going to be your go-to amp for the
Hmm.
rest of your life. And that's what, I'll even give a little shout out sort of to the other brands. The other guys, the PPIs, the Rockfords and such, and the Phoenix Goals, they feel the same way, and I think they're
Yeah.
correct. I may feel my amp sounds better than that, but
Right.
just scratch that for the moment. We all feel the same way about our product, and I think it's going in a good direction. So again, we make it all here. If any of the audio stores would like to dibble and dabble with that, give us a call, and you can. I guess the best way to hit me up is email and the Orion phone number. Someone's not manning the phones every day because we are a manufacturer. We're not a retailer.
Hmm.
Okay, but the phone number is 928-76-Orion. Let me make sure I
Okay.
said that right. Yeah, 928-76-Orion.
And the
So
email?
and my email, just do my Gmail, because I don't know which fucking account it's going to go to Orion. I don't drive software, so do my Gmail, which is jcjc50. No, better. I got it. oldschoolpcb@gmail.com. There you go. That's the one I've been giving out to get my, yeah,
Okay.
old school PCB. All
Yeah.
right.
So,
That's what I started with back when I started doing. So oldschoolpcb@gmail.com. You can give everybody that one out. And I'm also going to send you my new Orion email address when I get it. You can have that
Okay.
for anybody that needs it. And yeah, they can reach out and say, hey, what's going on? What are you doing? What do you have for sale? I keep it very simple. We're selling NT amplifiers right now. In about a month to two, we're gonna break out with the 225 baby reds. A couple months after that, we have another vintage version, the 2250, the 2100, the GS500, the 97.3, and then after that, we're coming out with possibly, well, I can say it's a 425. A lot of people be like, oh, that's cool. But what's cool about that is the 425 was never actually made in generation 2. They skipped over it. I'm actually going back and making a board that was originally on the chopping, the platform to be made and was never made. So it's a true new old school build. Brand new, but truly old school. And it does not exist. It's never happened is what I'm saying. So we're
Gotcha.
building a vintage amp that was supposed to happen that is now going to happen. So like I told you earlier, I've got 10 years of products. I can, if dealers, I say that because what's important to dealers when we start actually selling to dealers and whatnot, because right now we're just trying to get the things that we're building out there, is that we want the dealers to understand that unlike every time somebody says, yeah, we're in there with you, we're trying to promote with you. Look, we have no options. Whether we got dealers or not, we have no options to do it but the way we're doing it. Dealers are seeing they like the way we're doing it, so they're jumping on board with us because they like the way we're doing it. Does that
Yep,
make sense?
that makes sense.
So for the dealers that are stuck, oh shit, this guy's got this brand and this sells this way and this you can get on the internet and stuff. Dude, we're a hard fucking stop. We're a hard stop with online shit. Like, honestly, if you don't have my phone number, if you don't call us direct into our emails, you're not getting our fucking product. Straight up. Like, there's no Amazon. There's maybe
No
an
B
Amazon
stock.
checkout. No. You can, no, we have B stock that might
Okay.
be scratched,
Okay.
but not B stock being sold underground to fuck over all my dealers, which is where I was going earlier, and I stopped short, which is why ADS did. You know, when I went there from my audio store, I'm gonna leave you with this. What the fuck I saw when I'm working there at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to do I hear back doors open. And so I'm looking over the back door. I'm like, what the fuck's going on back there? And I see product going out the back door to U-Bid trucks. But
Yeah.
not only 3 years prior, I was in my fucking business and they were coming to my door, these reps saying, hey, Jack, audio sales are a little low. Had I known what I known, I'd have knocked his fucking teeth out his mouth at the moment. But I didn't because I'm just a young kid in business. 4 or 5 years later, how the fuck any of us is going to make money when these manufacturers are dumping all their shit out the back door to the internet before we had a chance to fucking even think about catching up with that? And they were smiling in our face. The reps were all your friends, your buddies who used to go to lunch with. Hey, let's go make that sale. Let's go to Hooters. I ain't gonna get too nasty, okay? Because I can really tear the shit out of these guys. But they were all full of shit. They lied to us. They knew the factories were getting hit. They knew there was going to be a fucking problem, and they let low guys like us paying our rent, have employees, literally just eat shit, and then tell us we can't have our brands because we're not selling as much. I found that out 4 years ago, seeing it with my own eyes. Product just fucking leaving out the back of the door. Taking new product and putting B stock or whatever the fuck they were doing in the box. So if an audio store saw it, they're like, oh, that's B stock. Oh, okay, it's okay. Nah, it's called lie stock. They were lying to all of us, and they were doing it for 3 and 4 years. And that's why when all that shit came from offshore, we had nothing to stand on. There's no way me and a few people were the only people that happened to in America. Because now that I'm traveling and now that I'm talking to people, every motherfucker's got the same story.
Yep.
So yeah, pretty fucking pissed off in those days. And honestly, that's why it's a hard stop. Don't even ask me for fucking Amazon sales. I'll probably hang up on you and never fucking call you again. Call me up, tell me you got a credit card with some cash and you want to buy directly from me to you. We go old school business and ain't going through no third party or nothing. So I want the audio stores to know that. If you want to deal with it, you're dealing with us directly here. You can call us, you'll hear me, you'll hear Enrique, you'll hear Mark, whoever's working here, like it used to be. You want to check on something, call me. I'll be right here. You ain't got to call, across the fucking world. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's what I'm looking for the audio stores. Anybody who wants to get involved, we're very proactive. We'll be with you there promoting the product. and backing you up on all the sales you make and not saying, product fucking blew up, you can't get parts. Some of these companies are selling shit they can't even repair it themselves.
Yeah.
I thought that was a lie. That now I know is true. I had no idea. I'm like, how the hell do you open up an audio manufacturer? How do you manufacture anything or even call yourself a manufacturer when all you have is, I'm right around the corner from these fuckers out here. It's just boxes stocked up to the ceiling with Chinese written on everything.
Yeah.
That's not a manufacturer. That's just the in-house distribution with a label. That's all that is. These people don't know anything of what they're doing out here. So that's why I hope the audio stores come back and stick with us, honestly, because we really want to do it the right way. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but that statement as far as doing it the right way, and everybody came, they were nervous. People came to me from the old Orion Industries. There's about 150 employees that work for that company out here that originally,
Mm-hmm.
I had a few people nicely say, hey, look, it's a big company, nice name, what you thinking of doing, literally being personally affected, thinking I was going to fuck something up because they didn't necessarily knew my background or where I was coming from, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then after they realized, oh, he knows this guy and this guy's helping him and the synergies there, they were cool. But yeah, people are personal with this brand out here. I can go in places sometimes with this shirt on randomly. Doesn't happen every day. No, it can happen a couple times a month. Like, hey, man, wait, where you got that? I'm like, what you know about that? I'll just joke around. Bro, I used to rock that back. That was the shit out here in Arizona. Yeah. I'm like, man, check this out. I'd be like, look me up in a couple months. I got some stuff. Just wearing a shirt, walking around Arizona, making sales. It's crazy. Anyway, I love it.
All right. Hey,
so next time we'll dig deeper.
Yeah. We'll go to another time. We're already way over time on this one, so
yeah, you were right. It goes by fast.
It goes by hella fast.
Well, next time I'll tell you the topics I want to talk about. We can dig down deep because man, there's some shit that some of the guys would love to hear. It goes crazy. It goes crazy. Anyway.
All right. Well, no, I do.
Anytime you want to do tech stuff, anytime you want to do tech talk stuff, if you want to know what's going on with building, we can do those too. But whatever you want, you line me up and I could get it straight for them, so we're not all over the place.
All right. Well, hold on a second. I'm gonna close out the podcast, but don't go anywhere. So, all right, guys. Hey, I want to thank you guys all for coming in and checking out. Thanks to Jack for being on here with Orion. The VP of Chaos is his title out there with the Orion people. Once again, Jeffrey's off doing his thing at CES, so he wasn't able to get a connection today. Otherwise he would be here also. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again next week, 6:30 California time. Once again, the only time that matters. But thanks for tuning in to This Week in Car Audio. Peace. We out.
And you know what's crazy? You asked me for